Ding Chavez 09 says, with the recent affirmative action case, how will some of the equity BS pan out? So the affirmative action case is limited currently to college institutions. And the reason that it is because college institutions are regulated federally. They're supported federally. Even private schools fall under these categories, and they have so much government support going into them. The individual students are supported federally through Pell Grants, subsidized loans, etc. They have this federal oversight. Title IX exists, right, for certain claims of like sexual assault or harassment that happen in the school place. Colleges have a unique place with federal oversight, federal contribution, and federal regulation. So all of that said, how is affirmative action going to deal with some of the equity BS? It just says that they cannot use race as a specific determining factor in their scholarships. Well, it's been expanded by, I think, the Missouri Attorney General. It can't be scholarships, fellowships, and work study programs, but mainly in the admissions process is the main order. How far that extends outside of just admissions is going to be probably litigated over the next couple of years. But here's the thing. You can't consider race as the checkbox where you say black and they go, ding, that's 50 points or whatever. That's a plus. That's a thing. Now, in my opinion, any consideration of race, no matter how small, is ultimately an ultimate consideration of race. Because what you say is, all things being equal between candidate of this race and this race wins. That's inherently unfair to this race. The argument would be, well, they'll favor the whites without saying it or whatever. Admissions, if the federal government is going to be involved in college admissions, they should be race blind. Race blind. So there should be no checkbox that says what race you are to get into college. In my opinion, I don't think it matters. But that being said, colleges will fully have the ability to determine race on their own using things like economic factors, demographic factors. Where are you from? Where did you grow up? There's a demographic breakdowns of those areas. If you grew up in the south side of Chicago or in Metro Baltimore or Washington, D.C., in a poor neighborhood, right? Probably black. They're going to know that. And the other factors they can do is your life story, your personal essay, where you say, I was born a poor black child. You can't indicate your race, but you can. I grew up in the hood. My best friends were Ray, Pookie, and Dequan. And I slept with Anne Fernique and gave her 17th baby by the time she was 15. Like, they're going to go, oh, shit, you are black. Or if you say, every day I walked by the Planned Parenthood, they'll be like, oh, God, they're black. Be like, oh, yeah, my father left for meth when I was 5 and he never came back. Well, oh, you're black. Like, those are the things that they'll do. And that's already the chatter, is that the personal essay will become the new way to establish through environmental factors the probable race of the person. So if you're white, you want to grow up, like in a sad situation. But then what you're going to have is colleges admitting people not based on race, but by like tragic upbringing. So it's going to be like American Idol, right? Where it's no longer about like who's the best singer, but it's who's the best singer whose mom died, whose dad turned gay and died of AIDS, whose fingers were blown off, but they still played guitar with their penis that they got because they're trans, right? Like, it's like, oh, we can't just figure out like who sings well anymore. They have to have a fucking backstory. I haven't watched American Idol in years, and that's why. Because everybody had a fucking backstory. But my parents watch it every year. Drives me fucking crazy. Did you see this guy on American Idol? I don't watch American Idol. Mom, Dad, I'm not 100. What are you talking? Why would I do this to myself? Anyway, that's going to be the new college admission process. The struggle test. Did you struggle enough for communism, comrade? Did you struggle that up enough? So that's a new thing. What will it do to equity? I mean, nothing. They're going to be looking for equity. And college admission should not be an excuse to like give someone a thing in theory, right? The whole idea behind college is like you want people who are particularly qualified to enter higher and higher educations. And then presumably the idea would be to find more skilled jobs that their skill sets are suited for. Now, just because they have a specific type of intelligence that might pertain to higher education, again, in theory, that doesn't mean that they're better than someone else, but because I have a doctorate level degree, right? A Juris Doctor is the law degree. So I have a doctorate level degree, and fuck me, like electricians, plumbers, way smarter than me. Carpenters, like I can chainsaw a pedophile in half, but you ask me to frame up a house, I can't do it. Like I can't put an electrical box in. I mean, maybe with enough YouTube videos. Car mechanics, way smarter than me. I don't do that stuff, right? Degrees don't matter in that way, but the presumption is that people who think in a certain way can pursue higher education in those specific fields, and then they can go pursue those specific fields. That's how it was. It's not how it is anymore, but that's the idea behind higher education. That being said, there is an argument to be made that why should you be disqualified from higher education ever? Why should you be denied entry to anywhere if you can pay? If you can pay. Now, maybe you're denied a scholarship or something, but if you can pay, why? Like, oh, you're not as smart as other people. Why can't you pay for Harvard? Because if you have $1 million to spend on school, I mean, why can't you go? That's always a question for me. Is I think that colleges are no longer this vaunted institution, and they're now literally just a business. And it becomes obvious when their class sizes are small, they reduce requirements and let people in. It's like, wait, where's all the prestige? Where's all of that? Now it's you need to pay the bills. Oh, you're just a Walmart that hands out paper after 4 years. Okay, cool. So I don't know what's going to be the outcome of it, but they're still able to make those determinations based on those demographic factors from a personal essay. That'll be almost impossible to eliminate. Now, the only thing will be exposing a scheme of sort of disparate impact. So there's disparate treatment, which says I look at someone's protected category and I treat them differently intentionally. And there's disparate impact, which says I look at these things and it has a disproportionate impact on one demographic or the other. And those things are specifically like related to that, like they're intended to produce that outcome. Now, if they do that and they show that these personal essays mean that they're only letting in students of one race and it's clearly a race-based system, that'll be further litigation on the issue. But that's going to be really hard to show in college admissions. They just have a lot of flexibility there. So I hope that answers your questions.